My name is Chris, and my mom's name is Betty, and she was 73 when she died.
I'm 28 years old, and my mother died when I was 15.
I'm 23, and my mother passed away 9 months ago.
My mom died when she was 55. I'm 41 tomorrow, and my baby will be 1 tomorrow. And there were some times when we didn't have a conversation in the car. It would just be silence. I could see her as I was driving, looking out the window, and I would think, what is she thinking about? How long she has? Will she see another Christmas? Will she see another birthday? And there are times now I wish I would have turned around and I said, Mom, why don't we talk about your feelings? Why don't we talk about your thoughts? I couldn't. It was so painful. Because then I would be admitting that she was dying. Then I would be admitting that the end was coming. And I thought, if we don't, it's that saying, if we don't talk about it, then it's really not going to happen. And it really does happen. My mother believes that she's going to go out kicking and screaming, and she's not taking this aging thing laying down. It's war.
Well, it's true. Listen, we're all fighting gravity. I'm going to fight it all the way.
And she said, honey, if the time ever comes that I have to be put on life support, and I cut her off, and I said, thinking I knew what she was going to say, I said, thanks, Mom, that's really nice, I know what you're going to say. She said, no, you don't.
Heck, if there's help out there, I'm going to go for it.
She looked at me with such intensity and such seriousness and said, I don't ever want you to turn me off. Never. Maybe they'll come up with a cure. Maybe they can bring me back. I'm 54 and Mother is 80. Mom has begun entering the disease process of Alzheimer's. She feels the disease. She feels times when she's clear and not clear, and I think that's frightening her tremendously. What kind of dresses we're going to pick out for tomorrow?
Oh, I see.
Okay.
I see.
Would you show me, what would you like to wear tomorrow?
I don't care. She knows that I'm sort of a fraidy cat, but I'm trying to be brave. Anything is.
Let's try here. Let's put something together. Do you like this white skirt, Mommy? She was a quite controlling woman all her life, very critical. As a little girl, I truthfully didn't feel that Mom loved me. How about let's picking out some jewelry for her, too? I buy her flowers once a week and do little things for her. And 2 weeks ago, she looked at me and said to me, no one has ever been so kind to me. And I almost lost it. To have her say that to me was one of the most awesome things, because the acceptance is there. She's just dealing with me as I am, and it's wonderful. It's the first time in my life I have felt we have a free relationship. Mom, I have to go back to work.
Oh.
They're beeping me again.
Oh.
And this is a blessing for me, to have the disease bring my mother to me in a bond that I've never had before. And then I'll come by and I'll give you a hug, and then I'll go home.
Oh, all right.
All right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you go out with your friends.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I'll see you later.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. God love you. She's the best. She's the best. If only everybody could have a daughter like her.
I never thought about death in relationship to my mother. She's always been there. She's never been really this sick. And I think that was the first time in my life that I realized, what would we do without her? It's something to experience your mother in pain. We saw my father. you know, he had cancer. We went through that with him. But your mother and her daughter, you know, when my mother was in pain, I felt it. And the doctor asked her, had she lost any weight in the last few months? And she looked at me for the answer, and it was like, I'm the mother. Can you lean down?
Yep. That's fine.
Yeah. I was in control now. And that's a major responsibility. I orchestrate everything like she does. But she's giving me the strength to do it. She's giving it to me. Turn on and see. Yeah, you look like my mother. Tough cookie. Oh, I don't know about that. There you are. See, you didn't see your face going into surgery. I did. Through crying and hysteria. You had that look. We knew you was coming out of there. But look at you now, you have your color back. You know, your eyes are no longer half masked, and I can actually pick my feet up and put them on the bed. Yeah. Well, you're in real good shape from a week or so ago, and with your help, you really helped me. I know what I would have done. You don't have to know.
And I told her, I said, you know, I hope something happens that when you're old, you just get to be this crotchety, old, mean old lady. Because when you die, I really want to say, oh, thank you, God, I'm done with her. She's gone. She's out of my life. Because if she would die tomorrow, I would go insane. I remember when my father was diagnosed with his illness, I looked up. I remember this so well. I was in my parents' house, and I looked up and I just said, oh, God, I know you'll never take Mommy away now. I know you'll never take her away.
I think she was semi-conscious because the nurses were trying to see how conscious she was, and they told me to call out to her. And I called out, Mama, and a tear came down from her eye.
The doctors kept telling me to let my mother know that it was okay for her to go, that I didn't need her anymore. And when they told me that, I thought, oh, okay, I can do that. And then I started thinking about it. I said, but I'd be lying. It's not okay for her to go. And I do still need her, incredibly. But I sat by her side and I held her hand. I asked her if she could hear me. She nodded her head. And I said, well, I'm just here to let you know I love you very much. And I'm going to miss you a lot. But that it's okay for you to go. She was just laying there, and she had a sheet over her. And she had one of those nightgowns on. And I grabbed her hand, and I knew I would never. That was it. It was over. And I looked down at her. I thought, this is my mother. This is one that's been with me for the past 46 some odd years. This is the one that gave me birth. This is the one that told me those little secrets in the family that you're not supposed to tell. This is the one that told me her secrets. This is the one that loved me, that we had fights over, that we yelled, screamed and slammed doors, and took me on vacations and watched me at school. And when I tell her my fears, she would say, it's going to be okay. You're going to be fine. It's like I had all this stuff was going through my mind, and I thought, there goes part of my life. I was no longer a daughter. I was no longer, that whole role was gone. That whole feeling was just gone. It was just like someone came and erased that part of your life. And I thought, how could they do that? How could they come and erase that part of your life that was so strong with you? Now I'm no longer a daughter. she loved me. I remember her last smile. I think in her dying, I was able to appreciate how much she truly loved me.
My mother will always be an important part of my life. So much of who I am is because of my mother. And I think that my child will know my mother just by knowing me. And what I tell my child, you know, the stories that I will share. Baby lotion. For girl. I want to tell my child that although she will never know my mother, she comes from a wonderful grandmother, and the warmth that I convey, or the laughs that we have, my sense of humor, my joy in living are directly from her.
Despite the fact that my mother isn't here, she just lives on in me so powerfully. And with everything I do, I'm always speaking to my mother in some way. In Hebrew, Rebecca is being named after my mother. It is right that my mother's name is Ruth, for she was like Ruth in the Bible. My mother gave me this sense of confidence. I want to be able to pass that on to Rebecca, because the strength that I truly believe my mother gave me, that's what got me through life. And I don't know how she did it. I don't know. In some ways, it was simply love. My mother just loved me. And I look at my little daughter now, and I think to myself, you have part of Ruth Garber in you, and you're really lucky.
This is Hannah Maria. I gave birth to her. That was 5 hours ago.
When I actually gave birth to her, I just felt so proud, like, wow, she's giving me a chance. She's giving me a chance to teach someone the things that my mother taught me, or to nurture her so that one day she can grow up and have children and bring them up. And I just felt how life begins. Here it is. This is what your mom was doing for you. All those lessons learned. Like, this is the way it is, you know, and this is the way it will be.